$10 billion in liquidations between Friday and Sunday, which is a record for the Bitcoin network. So kind of looking back and framing this conversation, we want to talk less about the news angle and more about the misinformation that kind of came out of this prior weekend. There was a lot of big name Twitter accounts tweeting in all caps, saying things that were completely off base, had no truth, and they seemed to lead to a lot of liquidations across a lot of exchanges. Now, these exchanges liquidated accounts because of a few different factors, including that there's a lot of low volume over the weekend days. Not a lot of people are trading necessarily. Hopefully they're enjoying their Saturday, not looking at the Bitcoin charts. But here we saw that some fake news and then some misinformation and just some facts that need to be to have some nuance around them, such as Turkey banning Bitcoin. That didn't happen. It banned payments for crypto for some institutions. That led to a trigger of exchanges liquidating accounts, and that kind of has a cascading effect, is what it's called. And so we have the situation where the Bitcoin price dropped $8,000. I think it dropped $6,500 in around 10 minutes on Friday night. So it's just like massive liquidations across the board. A lot of blood in the streets is what they call. So really fun weekend if you like to watch charts. Really bad weekend if you like to play with charts. I want to give this over to Zach. As you're looking at this on Friday night and you were probably ready to have a good weekend, what were you thinking about? Did you have to write this up?
I was enlisted to write the next thing that we're going to talk about. So thankfully I missed some of the all caps shenanigans, but didn't Dogecoin like CME futures launch? Like clearly there's some shenanigans in the market with people like acting a little bit too unquestioningly about some of the news sources that they're consuming. So, you know, the fact that this happens sort of speaks to the nature of these markets, right? We talk about this often. We talk about the meme economy. We talk about sort of information murkiness, and you know, people are trading, looking to get you know, edge on trades that, you know, come down to minutes, seconds even, and sometimes people act first and think later. And I think what we saw here is a case of that, and you got to see it unfold in some of those big red numbers across the board. So again, speaks to sort of like, you know, the informational infrastructure around this industry and how it's still at times quite lacking, I think.
Yeah, I guess my immediate thought here was sort of...
Go ahead.
No, it's just like how much attention and saturation of data points is like too much at this point. You know, you were talking about kind of like the trade second by second, and I feel like that does cause people to just say, oh my God, what are these things saying? Like, oh crap, like if I don't do this now, like is it going to drop another $1,000 or something like that? And so to me, it was just sort of, you saw not only the all caps tweets, but you had, I think like CNBC, like resurfacing an old Reuters report on India, looking at cryptocurrencies, and like all of that conflation and like crossover is just kind of creates chaos. And to me, you know, that was sort of my takeaway here is like, maybe let's just take a step back and not look at all these data points trying to get every single advantage for hyperfast trading.
I think also, I mean, we've seen such a giant bull run and prices have just been going stratospheric. So I think a correction was always on the cards. It's just like, what's going to be the catalyst for it? What's going to lead to that downturn? So I don't think this is the only correction we're going to see. I think there's a lot more volatility to come. So it's so fascinating to watch these crypto markets and just see these swings back and forth. And obviously, you know, Will, to your point, you have these new people getting in and they're just looking at these news items. They're like, oh no, I bought at the worst time because now all this bad stuff's happening, I'll sell. And for most people, it's not going to affect them. You know, for a lot of crypto hodlers, they've been in the space for a while. They experienced at least one market downturn and they're probably like, yeah, okay, I understand what's happening now. We're in this part of the game. So I do think that we're maybe shaking out some of the weaker hands right now, and we'll just, we'll see this game continue.
Yeah, to your point there. So my little brother has been shilling Bitcoin to all his college friends for like the last few months, and they finally bought at this local high at like 63, 64, and then they got wrecked this weekend, and now he is the least favorite person on campus. Just kind of goes to the narrative of like how you get into Bitcoin is typically just by getting your teeth kicked in, and some people survive it and some people don't. And so, yeah, hilarious to see that kind of like anecdote firsthand for him. But a few information packets
You're
kind of went out
such
this weekend.
a sadist there. Like, it was so hilarious for me to watch him lose all of his friends. Absolutely hilarious.
Hey,
Say, how many people are on this campus? Did he make thousands of enemies like immediately?
Well, you just gotta have him tell all those people that that's the cost of tuition at Bitcoin University, and then he'll be
Exactly it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Well
how you
said.
build bridges.
So a few quick misinformation points here. So there was one tweet that talked about a dubious and unconfirmed investigation by the U.S. SEC into financial institutions for transacting with crypto. That has not been proven at any rigorous or reputable news source, including CoinDesk. As Ben was alluding to, there was an old tweet resurfaced from Reuters about India perhaps banning crypto. That's months old news. That resurfaced. And then we even have news about Coinbase CEOs and execs dumping their shares immediately, supposedly, which of course was not true.